A series of lectures on polymers, and in this first lecture we will be discussing the basic concepts of polymers. A polymer is a large molecule comprising of repeated structural units joined by covalent bonds. Uh, the polymer word has come from a Greek meaning where poly means many and mer means parts. That means any compound or molecule which is made of many parts is called as polymer. So for example, if we are having many units, structural units like this, and we join these units through a process called as polymerization, then the type of product which is formed will be called as polymer, because this is formed from many parts. And the simplest definition, we can say that something made of many units is known as a polymer. As far as history of polymers is concerned, it dates back to 15th century. In 15th century, the Mayan civilization, then their children, they were fond of playing with balls which were made of polymers. So these were used by the local rural areas. Then the actual existence of polymeric material came in 1839 when Charles Goodyear discovered the process of vulcanization of the rubber. So when some sulfur was added to the rubber, it was found that the product formed is much more stable than the natural rubber. So this is the most commonly used polymer, the vulcanized rubber, and we know that all our automobile tires they are formed from vulcanized rubber. Then in 1907, a synthetic plastic named bakelite that was synthesized by Bakeland, the name of the scientist, and it was found that hardness and high heat resistivity of this material made this material to be used as electrical insulator. So this was a very important era of polymerization where this polymer was invented. Then in 1917, the chemical structure of cellulose we know is a natural polymer, was discovered by Polanyi by X-ray crystallography. Then in 1920, the modern polymer theory was published by Struger, and his work was entitled as Aubert polymerization. In 1927, PVC, which is a very common polymer these days, the production of PVC began in 1927, and we know now that this polymer is today used mainly for plumbing pipes and bottles. They are made of PVC. Then in 1930, polystyrene was invented from the polymerization of styrene, and nowadays it is widely used in video cassettes and other packaging materials. Then styrofoam, we know, is used in manufacture of cups. Sometimes we take tea in these cups, so that is made of polystyrene or styrofoam. Then thermally insulated containers, they are also formed from polystyrene. Then in 1938, nylon was synthesized by Carothers, and nowadays this is used for manufacture of ropes and clothes. Nylon is also very important polymer which was discovered in 1938. In 1941, polyethylene, which exists in two forms, LDPE and HDPE, low density polyethylene and high density polyethylene. These were produced in 1941, and a whole lot of products they are formed from polyethylene. So this is used for packaging films, pipes and toys and all other types of applications which we will discuss in details later on in any of the lectures. Then in 1970, the high temperature polymer which can be molded, ethanol, that was synthesized, and these are liquid crystal polymers developed from this material, and they are used in electronic devices and aircraft engines. Then in 1971, Kevlar, a polymer which can withstand a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade. So that means this polymer is stable at up to a temperature of 300 degree centigrade. So this was developed by Kowalik, and it is used in manufacture of bulletproof and fireproof garments for firefighting and car racing, etc. Then in 1976, the polymer plastic industry that outstripped steel as most of the widely used materials. So before 1976, steel was used as the most widely used material. Whereas after 1976, polymers they became the most widely used materials in the history. Then some of the commercially important polymers, and when they were introduced in 1930, styrene butadiene rubber was introduced in the market, SB rubber, which we call as. Then PVC in 1936, neoprene rubber in 1936, PMMA polymethyl methacrylate in 1936, then polyvinyl acetate, which was formed from polyvinyl alcohol in 1936. Then polystyrene in 1937, nylon 66, which is formed by the condensation of adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine, that was formed nylon 66 in 1939. Then polytetrafluoroethylene 1941, unsaturated polyesters 1942, polyethylene 1943, then butyl rubber also in 1943, then nylon 6 silicones, then polyethylene terephthalate, this is an ester polyester which was formed, then epoxy polymers, ABS resins, polyethylene, linear polyethylene, polyoxymethylene in 1956. Then all kinds of important polymers they were introduced in the industry. Then polyimides 1967, and latest polyarenides. These are aromatic polymers they have been introduced. And in 1976, one more type of polymers, that is conducting polymers, they have also been introduced. And first conducting polymer was introduced as polyacetylene. Then some fundamental terminology in case of polymers. First is monomer. Monomer is the building block or structural unit of the polymer. So the molecule from which the polymer is formed by repeated addition or condensation, that is called as monomer. For example, if we are to synthesize polyethylene, then the building block for that unit is this one. Monomer will be ethene. So these are some of the important polymers from which the monomer from which they have been formed is listed over here. For example, polyethylene formed from ethylene, polypropylene formed from propylene. This is the monomer. Polystyrene formed from styrene. Uh, PVC from vinyl halide, polyacrylonitrile from acrylonitrile or vinyl cyanide, polymethyl methacrylate from methyl methacrylate, polyisobutylene from isobutylene, Teflon from tetrafluoroethylene. So these are some of the important polymers or repeating units which are formed from these types of monomers. So this is the structure of the monomer and this is the name of the monomer. Then polymer, they can be of two types, either homopolymers or copolymers. Homopolymer is when a single monomer is involved as a repeating unit. So the polymer will be formed only from a single type of uh, monomer. So for example, if we are having a monomer A, if this is repeatedly present in the polymer, then we call this polymer as homopolymer. So for example, polyethylene is a polymer of ethylene. So only ethylene is the monomer which is used in manufacture of polyethylene. Then copolymer is if the polymer is formed from more than one monomer as the repeating unit. Then we call those types of polymers as copolymers. And these copolymers, they can be of these types, either graft copolymer. Graft copolymer is that we are having chain of one monomeric units, another chain of another monomeric units, and these are grafted. This one chain is grafted on the other chain of monomers. So such type of copolymer is called as graft copolymer. Then is alternating copolymer. Alternating is that first there is one type of monomer, then another, then repetition of the first one, then again the A, then B, then A. So you can see that both the type of monomers, that is A and B, they are present alternatively in the polymeric chain. So such type of copolymer is called as alternating copolymer. Then random copolymer is when we are having two monomers A and B. B may be present number of times, then A may be present once, then B may be present many times, then A may be present twice or thrice or four times. So there is no definite pattern of attachment of the different type of monomers. So they are present randomly. So that is why the name random copolymer. Then is block copolymer. So here a one block consists of one type of monomer, other block consists of another type of monomer. For example, we are having a block of B type monomers first, then A type, then this will be further having B type. So such type of copolymer will be called as block copolymer. Then on the basis of type of chain, they can be divided into linear polymer or crossed linked polymer. Then even branched polymer also. Linear, when there is a single chain of monomer units connected together, then such type of polymer is called as linear polymer. And branched, if there are some branches, they are present on the main chain of polymeric chain, then such type of polymer will be called as branched chain polymer. And if two linear polymeric chains, they are joined by cross links at 2 3 different places, then such type of polymer is called as cross linked polymer. So long polymeric chain form cross links because each bifunctional or trifunctional monomeric unit has 2 to 3 bonding sites. So one bonding site binds in a chain, other bonding site binds in the cross link. So such type of polymers, they are called as cross linked polymers. Then is the orientation of different types of monomers on the polymeric chain. The orientation of monomeric unit in a polymer that can be in an orderly fashion or disorderly fashion. So depending upon the arrangement of different types of monomer on the polymeric chain, we will have the configuration of the functional groups around the polymeric chain. And this arrangement of different monomers on the polymeric chain, which tells us about the configuration of the functional groups around the polymeric chain, is called as tacticity. And based on this tacticity, the physical properties of the polymer may vary in different aspects. So on the basis of orientation of different functional groups around the polymeric chain, the polymers, they can be classified into these three categories: atactic polymers, isotactic polymers, and syndiotactic polymers. Atactic polymers are those where the monomeric units, they are present randomly. Say some are present downward, some are present upwards. So such type of arrangement is we can say is a disorderly arrangement. So either some can be directed downwards, oriented downwards, some are oriented upwards. So there is no specific order of orientation of different monomeric units. So such type of arrangement is called as atactic arrangement. So you can see over here the functional group here, R is here beta, here it is alpha, here it is again alpha, then here it is beta. So orientation of the functional group in the monomeric unit is not in a specific manner. So such type of arrangement is called as atactic arrangement. Now isotactic is that they are present in a definite manner. You can see that all the R, they are present as beta. They are downwards. They have a specific orientation. So such type of polymers, they are called as isotactic polymer. And syndiotactic is they are present alternatingly. One is downwards, other is upwards. One is downward, other is upwards. So R, here it is upwards, here it is downwards. Here it is upwards, here it is downwards. So orientation pattern is a specific pattern, but it is alternating. So such type of arrangement is syndiotactic polymers. Then degree of polymerization. Degree of polymerization means the number of monomeric units that have polymerized together to give the polymer. So this can be, say for example, if a polymer is formed from 1000 molecules, so that means degree of polymerization will be 1000. So degree of polymerization is very important factor which determines the physical properties of the polymer. Then is glass transition temperature. So glass transition temperature of a polymer is a characteristic temperature at which a rubber-like amorphous polymer will become glass-like, or a glass-like polymer will become amorphous rubber-like polymer. So this is also a very important temperature where we can determine the properties of different types of uh, polymers. So relative stiffness or flexibility of the polymer at a specific temperature can be estimated qualitatively if we know the glass transition temperature for that polymer. And then polymers, they can be classified in many ways. Uh, they can be classified on the basis of source of the polymer. They can be classified on the basis of thermal processing behavior, that how the polymer has been processed. Then the polymers, they can also be classified based on the mechanism of polymerization, that in under what circumstances the polymerization, or what methodology has been adopted for formation of the polymer, the mechanism involved in the polymerization, and on the basis of that also classification can be done. So on the basis of source, the polymers, they can be defined in two ways. That is, either they can be naturally occurring polymers or they can be synthetic polymers. So for example, silk, uh, which is formed from silkworms, is used in the manufacture of clothes. This is a naturally occurring polymer. Silk is a naturally occurring polymer. Then wood is also a natural polymer, and this is used to manufacture paper. Then the latex from rubber, this is also natural rubber, is also a natural polymer, and this we know has been used to make tires, etc. Then crustacean shells, they are made of a polymeric natural material called as chitin. So this is also a natural polymer. Then spaghetti carbohydrates, they are natural polymers. Then proteins from eggs, they are also natural polymers. Then we know polyethylene, these bottles, they are made in the laboratories, and that means they are synthetic polymers. Then insulating wires, they are formed from vinyl chloride, so synthetic polymer. Polypropylene is a synthetic polymer. Polystyrene, I have told you, is a synthetic polymer. Then Teflon, Saran, all these are examples of synthetic polymers. Then we will discuss the details of these one by one. The natural polymers, as I have told you, if they are isolated from natural material, they are called as natural polymers. Asphalt, lignin, shellac, tar, biopolymers, DNA, proteins, carbohydrates, cellulose, silk, wool, all these are examples of natural polymers. So cellulose, as I have told you, from which we synthesize many things. Uh, this is a natural polymer of glucose. Then amylose, starch. This is also a natural polymer of glucose. Then chitin, crustacean cell. This is again N-acetyl glucose monomers. They form the chitin. So all these are examples of synthetic polymers. These are natural polymers. The synthetic polymers, they are synthesized from low molecular weight compounds. As I have told you, the monomers, they unite together to form synthetic polymer. And the first synthetic polymer which was formed from cellulose was by nitration of the cellulose, that was cellulose nitrate. and this is also known as the celluloid, and this is this was formed from cotton. Then on the basis of type of process which is involved, the polymers, they are divided into two types: thermosetting and thermoplastic polymers. The thermoplastic polymers, they are those which can be softened on heating and hardened on cooling. So this can be done reversibly. So once we have softened the material on heating, it will hard on cooling. And repeated heating and cooling do not change the chemical nature of these materials. So if one polymer becomes softened or hardened, this is purely a physical nature, not the chemical nature of these materials. So chemical nature will remain same, only physical state of the material will change. And these two terms, resin and plastic, they are synonyms in case of thermoplastic. If it is written resin, that means it is a thermoplastic, and there is no difference between writing plastic or resin. And these type of polymers, they are generally formed from addition polymerization, and addition polymerization always lead to the formation of long chain molecular structure of the polymer. And most common examples, they are polyethylene and polystyrene. Then is thermosetting polymers. Thermosetting polymers or thermosets, they are formed by molding process, that is by heating, and when in the mold they are cooled, they become hard, and once they have been hard, they cannot be softened. So once they have been made in the mold, that will be the permanent material. You cannot resoft or reheat these to get the softened material. So once they have been formed, they are permanently setting resins. And these resins, they acquire three-dimensional cross-linked structure with the strong covalent bonds, and these bonds, they retain their strength even on heating, so they cannot be reformed. This is the difference between thermosetting and thermoplastic polymers. And most common examples of thermosetting polymers, they are polymers formed from epoxides, phenols, and esters, that is polyesters, phenol formaldehyde resins, urea formaldehyde resins, and polyesters, they are also formed from epoxides also. These are some of the differences between thermoplastic and thermosetting resins. Thermoplastics, they are formed by addition polymerization, whereas thermosetting, they are formed by condensation polymerization. They are long chain linear polymers, whereas these have three-dimensional structure. That means they are cross-linked structures. And as I have told you, they can be softened on heating, and both the processes can be done very easily, whereas cross-linked bonds, they retain their strength on heating, hence they cannot be softened on heating. And if we will heat them for a prolonged period, the polymers, they will be destroyed by charring. They can be reshaped and reused by reheating to a suitable temperature, whereas this cannot be done with thermostatic resins. So they cannot be reheated or reshaped or reused. This cannot be done with thermosetting resins. Thermoplastics, they are soft, weak, and less brittle, whereas they are hard, strong, and very brittle. So they can be reclaimed from waste. they cannot be reclaimed from waste because they cannot be reused. And thermoplastics, they are usually soluble in some organic solvents, whereas thermosettings, they are almost insoluble in all organic solvents. So this is the book which has been used for preparing this lecture, Chemistry for Engineers by Harish Chopra and Anupama Parmar. Thank you very much.